anyways, you were just mentioning about snowboarding. I want you to kind of give the audience a little background on who you are
Yeah.
and kind of how we met there.
Yeah, I mean, I am so fortunate to have just grown up. I grew up in a real small town in California called Mammoth Lakes. Now it's, maybe 10,000 people, and I actually didn't even grow up in that town. I grew up 20 minutes south in a place called Crowley Lake, and it was like 500 people growing up. One gas station, and that's basically it. There's just an awesome resort there, and my mom was just super into skiing, and yeah, I think I skied for like a year, and then my brother really wanted a snowboard. He's 4 years older than me, and then of course he's like my hero. So I wanted to snowboard. I wanted to do anything that he was doing, and yeah, just started snowboarding. I think I got my first snowboard when I was 9, and I got my first sponsor, I want to say, when I was 11. And I don't know, man, just product of my environment. And I knew from a pretty early age that was what I wanted to do with my life. And so I just committed 100% to that. I was homeschooled, and that really helped. That gave a lot of flexibility. I was doing, contests and traveling around at a pretty early age. Thankfully, my parents were super supportive of that. And yeah, man, it was I wouldn't trade it for anything. It was an awesome place to grow up, and I've been really fortunate to just kind of just do that for a living, and yeah, still doing it. Love it so much.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And you're 35 now? 35 now, so you've been doing it for over 20 years.
Yeah, that's crazy to think about.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm super dyslexic, and I dropped out of high school. Dropped out of homeschool. Like, that's
I think that's awesome. I love when you were telling me kind of about your story, and just like you knew from a young age, and not from a cocky standpoint or anything, but that like this is what you were going to do, and you're going to work your ass off to be able to do that.
Yeah, and I'm so blessed. Like, it could have easily gone the other way, and it almost did. Like, I struggled with a lot of injuries, kind of like I would say middle road of my career, where I had got a lot of sponsors, a lot of notoriety, and I felt like I started to kind of, I mean, I didn't realize it at the time, but I was kind of taking it for granted a little bit.
Yep.
And just might not have been working as hard, might not have been training as hard. I was with Nike at the time, and yeah, I like blew up my ankle one year, and was able to kind of like put together a video part. And for those of you who don't know what that is, basically, we just travel around all winter with a film crew, and they basically just film us snowboarding, and then at the end of the year, we'll either make our own movie, or we're a part of a collective movie, and we just have like certain, you just put footage out similar to like what you do on a hunt.
Yeah.
Same formula. So yeah, I think I just kind of got too comfortable with it, and wasn't working as hard as I should have, and then I just got hit with like 2 pretty bad injuries in a row, and everything was just kind of felt like it was starting to fall apart. I was losing some sponsors, and so yeah. Then I really got my act together, and just kind of put my head down, and was really good about physical therapy and healing good. And that was actually the first time I ever grew a beard. I decided I was just going to go live up in British Columbia all winter. I rented a shitty little A-frame cabin. I slept on an air mattress all winter and grew a beard, and ended up winning video part of the year that year. And that really kind of like, set me on the path that I am.
Yeah, kind of reset you, and like
yeah.
No, I mean, I think doing something that long, and especially when you had success at such a young age, that was probably a difficult thing. It sounds like, oh, that's awesome, like you're able to have that success early, but at the same time you're young and still kind of growing as a person, and
100%,
and messing up things and figuring it out, and trying to figure out who you are, and to be able to kind of stay on that path.
Yeah,
it would be tough.
Yeah, and I mean, you know how it is when you're young. You think you're so cool,
Yeah.
especially like I thought I was way cooler than I actually am. and and I was humbled, very many times I've been humbled. And I think those experiences are really good for you, and they kind of set you up for later in life, to just, remember those times and yeah, keep your ego in check, because we all have ego.
Yeah.
That's just a real thing. And so, having, having those experiences that's like, putting your ego in check the hard way, but it's also really nice to have just like friends and, family who will be like, hey man, like, call you out. Like if I'm doing something, and somebody calls me out, and somebody who who wants the best for me, that's one of the best things someone can have, I think, because if you can receive that, just really, puts you in check, and I'm always like, man, thank you for saying something and not just like letting me go act a fool.
Yeah. No, having good people around you that don't just I mean, pumping you up's a good thing, and being able to help you from a positive perspective. But I think it's more important to have people that, like you said, the ones that are really looking out for you and want to be able to make sure that you're going down the right path and doing it. And like, no, not exactly similar, but kind of a similar type story from a hunting perspective. So I grew up hunting whitetails in the big woods of Pennsylvania, and I was so lucky to have my dad, I still say he's the best hunter that I know, and he taught me a lot, and I started having success early on in that, and I took that kind of for granted. In 2019, I was so focused on killing my first bull elk that I just like kind of laxed a little bit on scouting with whitetails and going through and doing that. And that was the only year I think that I didn't kill a buck. And I hunted, once I got in the season, I was hunting hard, but I didn't put in the effort up front that I needed to,
Yeah.
and to be there. And it was like, it was kind of a reset button for me. I think I kind of needed it, of like thinking like, oh, I'll just be able to just continue down this path and do the thing and make it happen. And it's like, no, every year, everything you do, you just got to keep putting in that work. And I'm sure that's kind of similar to what you're, with what you do in snowboarding.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's, just on the hunting side of it. I mean, that's something that I really want to get better at is just the scouting. And there's so much work that gets put into, just for me, being a new hunter, just shooting a bow, man. I put so much time into shooting a bow, and it's crazy how much work goes into it before you ever even step out on your hunt. It's like, and so, yeah, that's just like something I'm learning, especially on the scouting side, e-scouting. I'm just like, I'm such a rookie. And it's awesome.
It's so like, exciting at the same time.
Oh, I'm so excited. Like there's no place I'd rather be, you know, like I was never, taught how to hunt. My mom really was into the mountains and snowboarding and skiing. And she really like set me up to be successful in snowboarding. And my dad really liked to fish. And so he kind of just took us fishing. I mean, that's some of my earliest memories is fishing. And so those two, I just really ran with those two passions in my life.